Hey everyone, Jasper here today with a bit of an update on my motorhome tutorial project. I always get questions asked, how do I actually take these things apart and actually start a tutorial? Well, in my last video I actually talked about how I break them up into modulars, but I never showed how I did it. Well, I use a brick separator and I started an area and worked my way around, basically separating the bricks. I know there's some out there who actually will take this thing apart and film every step, and they'll play it in reverse and make it look like the tutorial's being put together. I don't want to do that, it's too easy. I gotta take the complicated way. So I just take the brick separator and just slowly work my way in here like this, and just slide it in here. That's how I usually break these things apart. Now some pieces may end up being a little stubborn, you just have to kind of maneuver them a bit, but it's worth it. So you can see that I'm already coming apart here and dropping my brick separator on the floor. It's not too bad. This takes a lot of work to split this apart. Sometimes I have to work on both sides, especially with the slide outs. It makes it tough. So basically this thing's going to come apart. The first half of the tutorial, or I should say part, will be the base. Without the wheels, it'll just be the chassis and the floor and part of the walls. So you can see how I'm sliding it in there and slowly breaking this apart, hoping I don't break any parts while doing this. So this takes some time. This takes a little bit of time, and this is not going to be something we can get done in 5 minutes. And this is. I have people who complain to me and say, why aren't the tutorials done in like 5 minutes? Well, that's because I have to spend a good chunk of my time breaking them apart. I may have to pull the slide out of here to separate this. Also remember too, I'm going to have to pull the front off. So let me look and see how the front does come off on this. I don't even remember. Okay, yeah, so the front of this, I think, just slides off. I don't quite remember how I put it on. Let's see. Never mind, I actually figured that out. Now I will be taking reference photos while I'm doing this. So there we are. It's pulled apart now, the front's off. So hopefully it doesn't hang up. It did hang on the awning that I had to pull off of here. Let's see if we can get past this 1x1 brick. And and how long does it take to separate a section like this? So this is one whole scene. This might take 20 minutes to film, but how long will it take me to get this apart? When I did the travel trailer, this is the way I do it in a lot of my other tutorials. Separating stuff like this, could take maybe an hour or two just to pull this apart. Now, I'm not taking any reference photos, obviously, because I'm filming it right now. I wish I could just pull this thing and just separate it. Like, that would be easy. So now it's starting to come apart. Okay, I don't know what the inside's going to look like yet. Well, actually, you can see this is splitting apart really nice. I may have to pull these slide outs out of here, which should be done right now, actually, so they don't keep coming in and out. Let's see if we can break this apart without actually breaking pieces. Alrighty. Well, that's going to be tough. You can see how we're splitting here. We don't want to do that. Oh, there's another easy way of breaking these out. Maybe if I take the locks off the top, maybe it'll just pop right out of there. Didn't think about that, huh? No. Okay. That right there would be an easy tutorial. Believe it or not, those are easy to do. Let's get the bedroom out. It should be the same. They're the same depth, so hopefully. Let's see. Pop those pieces off and just tip it out. Okay. Well, well, that's not too bad, huh? Not too bad at all. Okay, Now, let's see about the inside. It looks like we're splitting right around this edge. We're really good. So now I got to break apart where the vents are at for the refrigerator. What does it look like in the kitchen? Well, the kitchen's probably hanging this thing up. Alright, let's see if we can wiggle ourselves in here and kind of break this apart. Let's push that all back down. Sometimes you just have to kind of, oh, there we go, that's really good. Very slow process indeed. This is not easy. If you ever want to get into making tutorials, especially into Lego, that's how you're going to have to do this. It's not easy when you're surrounded by papers. You know, it's not really easy to actually do this. Sometimes you can pull it too much and the whole thing will just shatter apart. So when you're coming in and doing a separation like this and you're trying to break something apart, just break it and just do it slow. Okay, because I've even had split things apart a little too fast. Well, see how this is not coming apart, so I got to bring this closer to me and give myself some more leverage here so I don't actually, the board's a bit in the way. Now, I had a complaint in one of my videos. Somebody said I talk too much. Well, if I talk too much, then mute the video. I've had that happen. Yeah, so I've had other people say I talk too slow. Well, when I'm doing videos like this, they're kind of challenging. You know, you don't just rip the stuff apart and say, look, I made a tutorial. Let's put the mirrors back on that so we can keep that separate. Alright, let's pop this guy and put it on these plates, because then I'm going to divide that up later. Alright, here we go. Alright, I don't think anything is here. Well, actually there is. So let me see. I think that just pops right off. Okay, and this has got the teeth on this end. Alright, this is one of those 2x6 angle plates. Now remember, I'm just popping things off right now, so let's see if we could do this in a video and show you how this all, you know, is unedited and stuff. And I've already started a little bit of it, but yeah, you kind of get the idea on how I'm separating things. Well, that is not cooperating. Alright, so the dashboard obviously is hanging me. There we go. The dashboard's obviously going to just fall out of this. So let me just pop that out of there. Put the dashboard there. And so far, looks like I've got this side separated up enough. Now we got to do this side. Yeah. Oh yeah. Crunchy, crunchy. It's all it does is crunch. And when I hear it crunching, I get a little nervous. Oh, man, it just does not want to budge. There we go. There, now we can work on this now and see if we can slide that in there and separate. There we go. Okay. Got a little bit of a tension up there. Got to be careful. Might need to pop that door out of there. We're going to see if we can keep the door. There we go. Almost. Just have this piece in here. This 1x6. As far as this handle is concerned, this is on a plate. We can leave that in there. Looks like that's not going to give me a... It's not going to make it easy for me. Let's see if we can just separate this whole thing. Alright. Sorry if this thing's out of the view. Remember, these are all unscripted, if you don't know what that means, and yeah, you have to Google that. Alright, looks like we're ready to separate here. Uh-oh, here we go, we're ready to separate this. Of course, some things are not coming off where I want them to, but we're having a bit of a hang-up issue. So something's hanging in here. It looks like it may be this kitchen. Yeah. I don't know why it's doing that for. I've had bad luck with breaking brown pieces, so that's hopefully them. This thing's supposed to just, well, the door came out. Set that there. Well, it's just about separated. It looks like I'm hanging where the kitchen is at. Let's see if we can just grab a hold of that kitchen, just muscle that out of there. There we go. Alright, so there we go. Now, that takes care of one problem. We'll set the pieces that we want to put in our first scene in the tutorial, of course, back on here. That means I'm putting it back together in a way. So basically in this whole piece of the tutorial, it'll just be two sections, including the tiles for the bathroom. So let's just put that back in there. As far as these bathroom fixtures are concerned, I'll have to take a picture of that and just take a little bit of reference photos, because this whole section will be done first, this whole thing except for the kitchen part. As far as the chairs are concerned, we're not too worried about the gear shifts. So let me get my phone and take a few reference shots. At 1% battery. Wow, okay. Let me plug it in. This is all live. This is about as live as it's going to get, guys and gals. You know, live as live can get. I do this live, but a lot of people don't join my live streams for me to do one of these in a live view. So let's take a few pictures. You know, this is also another part of stuff that I used to do back when I used to do electronics repair. Just take a lot of reference photos of how things are supposed to be. And the kitchen. So let's say I grab it and it shatters into pieces. Alright, put the phone away. We don't need that anymore. As far as these chairs and this are concerned, we're going to save this stuff for later. Pop the chairs out. Okay, now let's get the kitchen out of there. First, let's break the handle off without everything else with it. All I'm interested in is this. Okay. Excuse me. Alright, so put that back on, because that's not until way later. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get the kitchen and stuff out of here. Of course, the kitchen sits on the floor. That's a tutorial in itself. So let's just slide those out of there. Of course, the oven, I didn't want that to come apart like that. Well, glad now I took reference photos, because everything's starting to disintegrate, and I'm after these plates. So I want to get everything down to the plate level, and when I get to the kitchen part like this, I will set that over there like that. Sometimes the parts will stick to your hands. Let's pop this oven out of here, and you guys and gals are worth it, right? Okay. Yeah, I could just cheat and do it how some people do it, just take it apart and make it look like that, but it's not challenging enough for me. Okay, so apparently we have a brick in here. Now, how do I handle chunks like this? Well, I can just put it back inside the main piece and just lock her in. I do need the 2x3, because that is part of the floor tutorial. So we're almost got the floor separated. This piece will stay here, and this part will go back in here like this. So now it's kind of like, it's like just set in there. Now, this block will stay here because I'm just going to level it off. I know some of you are probably going, oh, you're tearing it apart, dude. Well, yeah, I'm tearing it apart, dude. Alright, let's get this, I need to get this 1x3 off here without breaking it. And I found out doing this is very risky because sometimes you can break these parts. And if they don't, if I can't just wiggle this off, I ain't gonna risk it. So, let's take my, let's just see if I can loosen it up enough. I've already broke several brown pieces doing that. Alright, so there's this. And there's the vanity. Let's pop out the toilet. And the bathtub. Let's see here. How do I get that out of there? Well, I could just break that out in one whole piece. Or I could just take a really good close-up of a reference shot of that really quick and get right up there, up close and personal. Just enough for a reference guide. Alright, so I know exactly the orientation of the parts. Because these are on top of a plate that I want to use for part of the tutorial. So I just set this stuff off here. Alright, this is part of the bathroom tutorial, so we're not going to deal with that right now. This could be considered part of the bedroom tutorial, but I'm going to go ahead and include it just so we can. And say that the floor coverings are done. So basically all this is the floor coverings, and I could just leave that there. Okay, so I think that looks really good. That's the base. One more thing I got to do is pop off the tires. The tires are the last thing to go on, and they should be the first thing to be popped off. I'm going to leave the axles on there just to make it easy, so when I do the tutorial I can just do that. Okay. And that takes care of the first section of the motorhome. Okay, there's your chassis. That's pretty much about it. Well, except for the 2 remaining tires. Okay. Yep. Now, how do I approach this? Well, of course, build the Technic frame first. And I'll set the plates on here for the deck. Maybe add this brown trim, some of this stuff, add the back with the receiver hitch, and of course fill it in with the floor. So that's pretty much how I'm going to tackle that. Yep, ripped it all apart. And then once I get this piece filmed to my satisfaction, then this thing will get divided up into pieces. I might just start with the bathroom first because that actually had the most individual parts. And then how I usually will do the bathroom is I will break this apart in such a way. Like what I'll probably do is break it right here at the window. Or I could just simply do this whole window and just include this with the bathroom tutorial. Okay, then I could do the bedroom, which should be here. You know, leave this plate out here, or this brick, and you know, this video is also for my reference as well. So what I can do is I can just break this here and here. This will be one whole section. I'll just do that. So this will be broke off here, and this wall here would be here, or just something. Kitchen will be very easy. It's not that hard. I can break it at the door and here, and then do the cab last. And then of course build the slide outs, drop those in. And then of course plate everything off at the top, and then the top pieces. The tops are very easy. These are easy to do. You know, it's only like a couple of minutes. I should have done is, this was something I was thinking about. I should have made these identical. I didn't, but it is what it is. So yeah, there it is. There's the first portion. That'll be part 1 of the tutorial. Actually, be the first thing you'll see is, of course, hey everyone, Jason here today with a complete tutorial of the Deluxe Class A motorhome with slide outs. What are you waiting for? Let's get started. Okay, blah blah blah. And then we fade out, fade back in, and say, okay, we're starting with this part. Okay, and this will be indexed too. So I think what I'll probably do is work my way from the back to the front on this tutorial. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll work from here to here. A couple other ways I could do this. I could split this down into 2 parts, actually. I can build the chassis with the deck and this trim, and that would be it. And then this part 2 would be another scene to do the floor coverings. I'll see what the runtime is. I'd like to keep each section no more than 20 minutes long. If it's like 25 minutes, we'll see. But let's say I do this first section here up to this green plate and this stuff down here, and it's like let's say 9 minutes. That's pretty close. May just split it off. I do not film all this in one scene. I can't just do that. When I take this stuff apart, I take a lot of reference photos, okay? So basically I have to lay the parts out and how they go together in a certain order. Lots and lots of pictures. I have a computer that sits right by me when I'm doing the tutorials. And then I have the parts set out and say, okay, I need to put this, 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 and that. The instructions are in my head, so that's how I know where every piece goes. So if you ever get into doing tutorials, that's how you do it. I have a friend of mine who doesn't want to do tutorials because he doesn't know the part names. You don't have to know all the part names. Even I don't know them. Like this is a 3-stud long non-friction Technic pin. I don't know the exact diameter of it. I do know these are wall. This is a wall element. This is a 1x2x2 wall element. They have different names for them. Like this is a 1x3x4 door. So on and so forth. But some of these pieces, I don't know what they are. So I have to either look them up or just like, okay, this piece goes here, you know. So that's it. I hope this would be a bit of an insight on how I start my tutorials. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what I'm going to do, as well as for my reference, so I don't forget where pieces go. I don't want to spend a lot of time putting this motorhome together by trial and error, you know. So now I got to film the first portion. Thank you for watching.